Hi, I'm Julia Ham, President and CEO of the Smart Electric Power Alliance, and I am here with Pat Collawn, CEO of PNM, a investor in utilities serving New Mexico. Pat, thanks so much for joining me.
You're welcome, Julia. It's great to see you, even if it's on video.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I look forward to one day seeing you in person again. So, Pat, PNM, in just a little over a year ago, in April of 2019, set its target to get to carbon-free energy by 2040, which is one of the most wonderfully aggressive targets from utilities across the country. Tell me about what were the drivers that led PNM to set that target?
Well, the clean energy is in our DNA at PNM. You know, we had wind on our system back in 2003 when I would say, it wasn't all that stylish. We were supporters of US CAP, US Climate Action back in 2007. And we were big supporters of Waxman-Markey back in 2009. So it goes back a long time. And we believe it's really the right thing to do. It was accelerated in 2011 when the Environmental Protection Agency asked us to put selective catalytic reduction technology up at San Juan generating station, which is up in the Four Corners area. And we said, that just doesn't make sense for the environment or for our customers. It would have doubled the book value of the plant. And while it would have controlled NOx and SOx, it didn't do anything about greenhouse gases. So we worked with the Environmental Protection Agency in the state to come up with a plan to shut down 2 units of San Juan and then put selective non-catalytic reduction technology on the other 2. So it saved our customers a lot of money. It helped the environment. It reduced the water usage by 50%. People forget that water is really important too. And it was lower cost for customers. So we did that, and then we had been continuing to add clean energy to our portfolio. Then in 2018, Governor Lujan Grisham was elected, and she was a big supporter of clean energy. So we worked with her administration in the legislative session in 2019 and passed what we believe is landmark legislation called the Energy Transition Act. And it does 3 things. It sets a new renewable portfolio standard for us, which takes us up to 80% renewable energy by 2040. But then it takes us up to 100% clean energy, or emissions-free energy by 2045. It allows us to securitize the remaining book value on the last 2 units of San Juan that saves our customers money. And then 3, it provides $40 million for job training and economic development for those communities and workers impacted by the closure of the coal plant. And I think we forget about that just transition for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's good for the environment. It saves customers money. When we pull those 2 units out of rate base and put all the new clean energy in, it's going to save customers about $6 or $7 a month right off the bat. So it's just the right thing to do. And when we came back to look at our portfolio about how we'd meet that, everybody's like, well, we can do it really easily by 2042 because we'll have some gas plants that depreciate off by 2042. And I'm sort of competitive. And I said, I don't really like that ring to it, 2042. Why can't we do 2040? So we decided that our goal was to be 2040. So we have to depreciate a couple gas plants a little earlier to get them off by 2040. But we just think it's that important. And we still have 1 coal plant that goes to 2031 at Four Corners, and we're working to get out of that sooner so we can be coal-free sooner. Clean energy objectives are they're the right thing for the environment, but they're also the right thing for our customers and our communities. As you know this, renewables are so inexpensive now that they beat coal hands down. And in some cases, they could beat natural gas. Right now, we need the natural gas to provide us that flexibility while we work towards, I won't say better, but storage with more duration, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
And so it's really the right thing to do for customers. Years ago when I started this industry, we wouldn't have been having this conversation about price, but, and win-win is an overused phrase, but I mean, the environment's winning and our customers are winning, right? And here we've made it so that our communities can win too.
Yeah, well,
because it is difficult for some of those communities. And in our case, it's the Four Corners. and it's up by the Navajo reservation, and the coal plants and the coal mines up there have been sources of jobs for those folks for generations.
Mm-hmm.
So we owe them a way to go to new employment.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic to hear about the legislation and how comprehensive it is or was in its thinking, and really thinking about that just transition piece. It's really heartwarming, and hopefully other states will, look at the precedent that New Mexico has set with that. But sort of on that same theme of the community and making sure you're thinking holistically about the impacts to customers. Obviously, as we're sitting here today, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. The environment has changed very much as a result of that we're operating within. How do you see an impact of COVID-19 on your long-term transition plans, either good or bad?
Actually, if I see an impact, I think it's a good impact, because I think people understand that climate is just so important to our ecosystem, and that we're going to have lots of changes if we don't get our climate back to where it needs to be. And while I haven't seen anything that says COVID-19 is caused by climate change, we all know that there are bad things happening because of it. So I think it gives it even more of a push. And I also think moving towards our goals, right? As a leader, you have to be able to do multiple things at one time. So you have to keep your eye on that prize and the vision at the end, and make progress towards it while managing the short term and keeping on those clean energy visions. And our commission actually has had hearings and allowed us to securitize. They gave us the formal approval of the securitization of San Juan during this pandemic. It gives employees hope. It gives communities hope that we can still deliver. And quite frankly, I think the companies that move the boldest on these things now will be best positioned as we come out of this pandemic to move ahead. And our investors are starting even to differentiate this in this pandemic about those that have fossil portfolios and those that don't. And you get the credit, and we have shown we're getting out of it, and we have a very concrete plan about how we get out of it, because you can say we're going to get out of it, or we try and not have a plan. But you see that differentiation going on now, even during the pandemic.
Yeah,
and we have to take time, to take care of our employees, and their health and safety is obviously first and foremost, in the safety of our communities. But at the same time, we need to look ahead and move ahead.
Yeah, I've actually been having a lot of conversations recently about how companies who are serious about ESG, right, thinking sort of holistically about the environmental, the social, and the governance aspects of their business, in light of the pandemic and in light of the crisis, are going to come out better than others, because all three of those pieces are going to be equally important to making sure that you really are a truly long-term sustainable company, but also one that does well for your shareholders. And
I think how you treat your customers and how you treat your communities and how you treat the environment, are all the same value set, right? And one of our core values at PNM Resources is caring, and it's about our employees, our communities, and the environment, and our customers. And so it all wraps into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you said something a couple of minutes ago about the need to balance the short-term, urgent things in front of you and sort of these long-term targets. And actually, that's what I would love to end on, is actually, do you have any practical advice for other leaders in the industry about how do you strike that right balance?
I think that's a skill just a leader has to have. And I think the leaders in our industry have that skill. And it's just being able to look at the long term. And in this pandemic, it is absolutely tragic in cost of life. But we've all been through bad things in our lives. And I think that I would recommend to people that when you're going through something bad, what keeps you going is focusing on the future. It is the mark of a leader that can focus on a vision, keeping everybody moving forward on that vision while tending to the day-to-day. And as I mentioned, that caring that we show to our communities and our customers and our employees in the environment now is the same caring we're showing for the long term. So it's really just how you operate on that continuum. And I think the other thing leaders need to understand in our industry is that they have to delegate, right? We have wonderful folks that work underneath us. And yes, I'm more involved in the day-to-day now than I normally am in terms of what's going on with our employees and are they doing well. But I'm not the one doing the pandemic plan and the return to work plans.
Mhm.
And actually, I'm not the one working on the resource portfolio, right? I approve it. So I think if you have that team under you that's focused on the right things, as a leader, it allows you that luxury to look at the future and function in the present also.
That's great advice, Pat. Well, thank you for joining me today, but more importantly, thank you for the leadership that you and the entire team at PNM are showing and helping move not only New Mexico, but the entire country towards the carbon-free energy future.
You're welcome, Julia. We hope all the other companies follow us into that carbon-free future, and we're looking forward to getting there. So you stay safe and healthy.
Thanks, you too, Pat. Thanks for watching. This is just one in a series of interviews that I'm doing with utility CEOs across the US. If you'd like to see the others, please visit our website at cpapower.org or subscribe to our YouTube channel.